It's official, y00ts is migrating from Polygon to Ethereum. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing why I think this is a bad decision that could have negative consequences on the collection. The thoughts in today's video are my own. No one knows the future of Web3 and NFTs. There are a lot more uncertainties than certainty, and anyone who claims that this is a good or a bad decision is operating on a huge sets of variables. However, the opinions in today's video are based on hours of research that I've conducted over the last couple days, really understanding the community sentiment, understanding what led to this decision and what do other people think of that, coupled with my experience and my expertise in Web3, helping brands build products, services, and communities within the Web3 space. I like to think that the Web3 space today is comparable to a map in Grand Theft Auto, where you initially start the game with a completely blurred out, graded out map, where you have no idea where anything is and where you are within that bigger ecosystem. And it's the same thing in Web3, a lot more unknown variables than known variables. However, the goal behind this video is to help equip you with as much knowledge and different opinions as possible so you can navigate this unknown territory with as much information as possible, because all it takes is one nugget of information to lead you to where you want to go with your destination and act kind of that north guiding star. So with that said, let's talk about what are the constraints that led y00ts to moving from Polygon to Ethereum. What are the benefits that could potentially come from this move, and what are the negative consequences that could potentially be created because of this new move? Now, according to Frank and the y00ts team, the main reason why the collection is migrating to Ethereum is because of the lack of liquidity and volume that has been happening on Polygon, which has led a lot of community members of y00ts requesting that from DeGods. And it has always been clear and always been voiced that the team behind y00ts and DeGods will always put the community first and will always put what the community wants first. And to be completely frank with you, I am not entirely surprised that this is happening. During a recent interview with Mark Coulter, before this news was officially announced, there was a clip about an hour and 40 minutes into the podcast where Frank was asked a question regarding y00ts. And you can see 1 minute before the question about y00ts, where Frank was talking about DeGod, about his experience, he was sitting with his hands wide open. He was chill. His tone of voice was relaxed. He had an open body language. But the moment he was asked about y00ts, you could all of a sudden start seeing his body language closing in of itself. And I actually made a tweet about this a couple of days before the official announcements of y00ts moving to Ethereum, pointing that out and pointing out that, hey guys, Frank's body language signals that there's something that is bothering him about the collection. His tone of voice changes, the words that are coming out of his mouth communicate uncertainty. He was saying things on the lines of, it's one of those things that I wished had turned differently. It was clear that there was something bothering about y00ts. So the move was not a complete surprise to me. And there are some potential strategic benefits that will come from y00ts migrating to Ethereum. Number one, there is a lot more liquidity on Ethereum. And we saw this happening initially with DeGods when they moved from Solana all the way to Ethereum. All of a sudden, DeGods being in a bigger pond, the floor price and the market cap of the collection instantly 2-3x'd. So there is clearly a lot more money on Ethereum than there is on Polygon. There's also a lot more activity, and it is a chain that is a lot more mainstream and that is a lot more adopted. So really, by being on the big boy chain, y00ts could potentially have the benefit of embedding itself within Web3 culture permanently and joining the ranks of all the other blue chip collections that are on Ethereum. And what is interesting is that initially the community positively reacted to the news of y00ts moving to Ethereum. You can see the floor price instantly pump. The volume was crazy the moment this was announced. The community was cherishing the news. There was very clear excitement from the community. And Frank, DeGod, and the DustLabs team always made it clear that the main value proposition of their collections is community. Community, community, community. They are not a utility project, they are a community project. And y00ts being on this new chain is going to be a better foundation ground for building and continue fostering the y00ts community. Now, here is where we dive about the potential cons that could come with y00ts moving to Polygon. And again, these are based on my personal opinion as someone who does not have the same level of insider information as the DeGods team. However, there are some clear signs. Number one, if the team really wanted to optimize the collection for building community, Polygon was actually a perfect place to do that, because the lack of liquidity into the Polygon ecosystem actually led that the only people that bought y00ts are the people that actually wanted to become part of the NFT community. And that is reflective by the strength of the community that they currently have and the number of active profile pictures on Twitter Twitter is filled with y00ts holders that are active and represents the community, and that is one of the strongest elements of y00ts. Ethereum is a place filled with traders. The truth is that most people who buy NFTs are in it because they want to make money. They are here to trade. And that is an interesting stat I have for you, because on average, it takes about 4 flips of an NFT before it lands in the hands of a holder. So there are 4 times more traders than there are holders. So number one, y00ts being on a chain that is not inviting for flippers and traders was number one, the best thing for optimizing for community. Number two, y00ts being on Polygon actually protected it from the negative effects of Blur. If you guys know anything about the Blur marketplace, they've pretty much created the whole farming meta. I'm not going to be diving too deep into that, but Blur farming was pretty much leading the inflation of prices for most NFT collection and was preventing collections from finding its true market price. And Blur was the reason we saw a lot of NFT collections, including Azuki, crash from the 17 ETH pre-reveal all the way to 5 ETH. You saw all that liquidity being drained out of the market. A big part of it was because of what was happening with Blur and a lot of the Blur loans being liquidated. Anyway, I'm not going to dive too deep into that. If you are interested in learning more about this, there's a lot of content on Twitter. All you need to write is Blur farming and you're gonna see everything you need to know. Reason number 3 why this was a bad mistake is that y00ts gave up on one of their strongest allies. Let's talk a little bit about Polygon. Polygon is one of those players that is leading the road to adoption. They are striking partnerships with some of the largest companies in the world, including Starbucks, including Nike, Reddit, DraftKings. The biggest companies in the world that are launching Web3 offerings are building on Polygon. And y00ts was the favorite child of the Polygon ecosystem. The CEO of Polygon had a y00ts profile picture at some point when y00ts migrated. If you are the favorite child of a very powerful man, why in your right mind would you decide to leave home all of a sudden out of a whim when you could have used all the connections and the full powerhouse of Polygon in your advantage as y00ts? y00ts had direct access to the business development team at Polygon. They had direct access to the marketing machine behind Polygon, to the resources of Polygon. Remember, y00ts and the DeGods team had a $3 million grant with Polygon, where it was free money that they got for a 0% interest rate just for being on Polygon. And they decided to give that money back. When you had access to such a powerful machine with Polygon, why would you decide to go to Ethereum where all of a sudden you have no connections to a business development team, where you are the favorite child of no one? Vitalik Buterin is definitely never going to change his profile picture to a y00ts, unlike the CEO and the team behind Polygon. So all of a sudden, by moving to Ethereum, you let go of one of your most powerful allies and joined the pretty hostile territory. Because let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, there has only been 2 big announcements for y00ts that have ever come out since the existence of y00ts. The first one was that y00ts is moving from Solana to Polygon. The second big announcement is that y00ts is moving from Polygon to Ethereum. There has not been any other big announcements regarding y00ts. The only value proposition for y00ts is community. And community needs to build around shared ideas and shared values. Now, currently in this market, y00ts and the DeGods team are a leading community. However, now that y00ts is on Ethereum, they are all of a sudden competing with incredibly bigger players. And it is going to be a very dark road for the collection, because now y00ts is going to be compared with a lot of the other projects that are actually building real utility. If you're on Ethereum, you're going to ask yourself, should I buy a y00ts? Should I buy a CloneX that is owned by Nike, one of the most powerful powerhouses in the world? Maybe do I want to buy a Doodle for the same price? Perhaps I want to buy an Azuki Elementals, a company that has the potential to create the next big anime series. Communities need to be built around shared ideas, and y00ts currently does not have a shared idea other than good vibes and great thinkers. But by being on Ethereum, all of a sudden you are part of a lot of other great thinkers. And a big reason, and this is me from my personal opinion, again, I've been wanting to buy into the y00ts community, it's been a while. And a big reason for that is because I wanted into the Polygon ecosystem. I wanted to be with the #1 NFT project for a chain that I believe in, a project that is on a chain that is growing and that is leading the road to Web3 adoption. That was the value proposition for me, was #1, the community, #2, the fact that y00ts was on Polygon. But now y00ts being on Ethereum, you remove the value prop of Polygon, and you also remove the value prop that you are a unique, strong community, because you are now one of a lot of people. The team behind y00ts wanted to optimize for community, which is why they led to moving to Ethereum. I have incredible respect for what the team behind y00ts has accomplished and what they are trying to accomplish. #1, being a founder and creating something new, whether you're in Web2 or Web3, I believe is the hardest undertaking that anyone can go on. Now, trying to do that in the most difficult industry that currently exists in 2023 makes it even a harder job. There is no industry out there that has seen a 90% drop in sentiment, in interest, in funding. Tell me, AI, semiconductors, virtual reality, every other big keyword that is currently trending, none of these has seen the sharp decline that the NFT space is currently seeing. So being a founder in the most difficult industry all of a sudden makes your job the most difficult job in the world. And only time will tell if this was a good move or a bad move for y00ts. However, from the way I see things from the outside, without having the insider knowledge and information that the team has, it does seem like the move from Polygon could have a potential negative influence on the collection and the future of the community strength and the community spirit. It's going to be a long, difficult road for y00ts today. I hope they succeed. I hope the community behind them stays strong. I hope no one loses money. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you for watching. I'll be seeing you in the very next video. Ciao.